Good morning, guys. The chili is on, not just in the slow cooker, but in the air as well. It's another rainy, drizzly, gray, cold fall day, but that's okay. It kind of suits my mood. As some of you guys know who watched the other channel, I got bad news the other day that unfortunately Uncle Harve passed away. I had stopped to see him the day before, which was kind of out of the ordinary because I hadn't done it in over a year. You know, we just get busy, and usually we see each other every fall for hunting season. And hunting season's coming up, but something was different. I was out at Dad's, and this time when I went to drive by Uncle Harve's road, I just couldn't do it. I was like, no, I gotta go visit Uncle Harve. And he answered the door and he said, well, I'm not feeling so hot. I got pneumonia, but come on in. I got to sit down. So we sat down for an hour and we had a good talk. And then I did a bunch of chores for him that he couldn't do. And I feel blessed that I got that visit in because that night he passed away, and that's what I want to talk about in this video. There's a few things. How do we deal with the passing of a loved one? And the older we get, obviously, the more experience we all get at it. It doesn't get easier in some regards, but honestly, in some others it does, because we just have to accept these things that happen to us. Now, I'm going to tell you guys, and I'm not special because of this, but I had a very hard blow in my life early on. I was 19 and my best friend died. And I'll tell you, that changes you. When your first real brush with death like that is a best friend. I guess it wasn't my first brush with death. Let's say that. No, I had two grandparents pass, but it wasn't like that. It wasn't the hard-hitting blow out of the blue and unexpected death. Okay, let's put it that way. And I think that changes a person, and you don't realize how that changes you. Many years go by, and not until I reached the stage in my life, guys, where I started this opening of the mind, this transcending, this whole process that just kind of snuck up on me, and I still don't know what it is. I feel I'm still going through it. But then, retrospectively, I began to understand and realize that I had changed at that moment in time when my friend died. And I looked back at my life many times, many nights in meditation, and I realized that I shut down. I built large walls around myself. I never let people in. I became very business-oriented, very get the job done, but I don't have to make friends along the way. And I always kept my friends down to a small number that I could count on one hand, kind of thing. And now that I'm older and have gone through this opening of the soul, I feel I'll talk to anyone, guys. I'm a different person now. I talk to strangers all the time, for better or for worse. I'll give you an example of for worse, or it could have been for worse. A couple days ago, I'm at the gym. I'm right by the machine, right at the door as people come in, the arm curl machine. And this woman comes in to the gym, and she pushes the wheelchair accessible button on the door. And the door swings open, and I started chuckling, and she looked at me and smiled, and I said, that's not a good sign when you're going to the gym and you got to use that button to open the door. And I totally meant that in a friendly conversation starting way, and then I realized as I said it, that could have been, she laughed. It could have been so much worse. But I've realized that turning point in my life of being 19 and having my best friend die, that changed me. And you have to look at that and accept, I think it's maybe when you're younger, a fear of death, a fear of loss. But you have to look at that in a different light. We could say the same thing about our pets. Gage, for example. I did the same thing with Gage when I was younger. Not Gage, sorry, my first dog, Hunter. We got Hunter, probably 18 years ago. I only had him a year, and he died a tragic death. He got run over by Grant. The grief and the loss was so unbearable at the time, I just swore. I said, no, I'm never going to have another pet. And when you get older, you realize you have to accept that as part of the package. We're all aging. We're all going to die. And I think that's the final acceptance. When you can accept that, so much more will open up and enter your life because you're not trying to hold on and stay static. It's, it's like the people that collect things, and I'm bad for that too, guys. I collect things, camera gear and books, and you reach a point in your life where you just realize, no, it's that's not the point of being here. It's experiences, it's people, it's interactions, just a daily interaction with your waitress or somebody in the grocery store or somebody at the gym. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about in this video, is the maturing of the human consciousness, I guess, and the acceptance of loss as we get older. It happens to all of us. And I know that my audience here, a lot of you guys are older than me, and you know that and you accept that. But I still see people who, they accept it, but they're not as deep thinking about it. Uncle Harve and Dad were best friends, and I've seen that this is such a hard blow for my dad. And I get it, I understand it, and I'm going to do everything I can to help Dad. It's going to be a rough hunting season. I think Dad did say, we're going to make the best of it. We're going to try to have the best hunting season in Harve's memory. The stories I could share with you guys around the campfire, those of you guys that are hunters, you'd laugh. We got some good ones. But I don't think Dad is at that stage. I don't think Dad has ever had a dark night of the soul yet, guys. Maybe he has, maybe he hasn't. But there are things in Dad's character that, he's gone through some rough stuff in his life too. And I can't sit here and judge anyone or speak for anyone, but I'll just say I try to help my dad with that opening of the spirit every chance I get, okay? We haven't always had the best relationship either, so it's taken many years and a lot of forgiveness and a lot of... We still do the back and forth, as I mentioned in the last video. I tell Dad, I think he needs a new well. Dad says, no, boy, I don't need a new well. And we butt heads, right? Where do you go from there? To me, it doesn't make sense that you're going to build a new house and not be able to drink your well water for at least, he says, well, that's only in the spring. That's his argument. What do you say to that? Well, Dad, wouldn't it be nice to have a glass of water anytime you want it? It is laughable if I think about it, because what else are you going to do? You could fight and argue about it, but it's not... That's the point, I guess, is acceptance. Again, I have to accept that that's where he's at with that. And, I do believe that there is more to this life, after we leave here. We've had too many incidences and things that some people could say were coincidence that have happened throughout my life. We've talked about all those on the channel. And I'm just waiting to see, when and how and where is Harve going to come through with message? Because I'm sure, 100%, Harvey had the best sense of humor. And I know there will be messages along the way from Harve at some point. I question, the things I think about, guys, when I think about this, Harvey having just passed away 2 days ago. Now, if you were that soul that passes away, what goes on? What happens? A lot of these people that have near-death experiences say that time has no meaning on the other side. So some people say, it takes a while for spirits to get acclimated to the other side before they can come through, and you won't receive messages and things right away. And other people will say, well, on the night of so-and-so's passing, they were standing at my bed, and they gave me this message in a dream, So I don't think there's anything to that it takes time. And we're gonna turn the spirit box on at the end of this session, briefly, just to see if we can get his name come through or any kind of message from him come through, because that's what we do on this channel. We investigate all of that, and I think it would be a missed opportunity if I don't take a 5-minute session here and just see what comes through this box in Harvey's name. Can he communicate? Can he send us a message? We'll get to that. There's a shiver down the back of my neck. I also had another strange thought today, maybe a very selfish thought. I'll throw it out there because, no, I don't believe it's true, but the thought arose in my mind, and it's worth mentioning, and it's worth thinking about, pondering, and discussing. And that thought is, could we be so selfish, each of us here, as to have this experience built in a way that every person that is in our lives down here is doing it just for us, to teach us, to share with us. When they signed up for this experience, from my conscious point of view, did they all agree and say, hey, we're going to go have an experience with you? And, again, that's kind of looking at, does the universe revolve around my consciousness? I don't know. But wouldn't that be a wonderful thing that we are that loved and cherished? And I don't think that's the case. I honestly wouldn't believe that, I've never felt here in this existence that overwhelming I am loved and cherished and needed so badly that I couldn't, change my life in an instant. And obviously there are people that my wife and things like that, but I mean, in terms of my community and my commitment to a company, or, I've never had that attachment to any place where I felt like, I guess I've never found my ultimate purpose yet, is where I'm going with that. And if I had that, would I feel that I couldn't just pack up and move on and do something else? I don't know. But the original thought was that what if all these people that interact with us, uncles, family, friends, even the people that just are intermittent in our lives, the guy that gives you the taxi ride home every night after work or something, what if all of these people were here just for us? I don't know. It's a very selfish thought, and I don't think that that's what it is, but it's a possibility. And if it is, I'd like to thank all those spirits in my life, because we do get that message all the time on here that we are loved and cherished, and we also get the message that they miss us all the time. And I guess maybe I look at that as them saying, we can't communicate with you as much as we'd like, and the same thing here. I can't communicate with them. I wonder, is it real? Is it nonsense? Does Gary hear what he wants to hear when we turn on the spirit box? I don't know. But some of the messages are very clear. So what I wanted to say, I guess, in closing on this subject is it's something that we all have to accept. And I learned long ago when my grandmother passed away not to be sad for that person, because they would not want us to be sad for 1 minute. My grandmother said, I don't want you to have a funeral for me. I want you to have a party for me. I want you guys to celebrate. Remember the good times. Have a beer for grandma. She was her passing was the best experience for me. It helped teach me and grow that it's something that we don't get to choose. It's something we can't fight. We have to accept it. And so does everyone else in this process. We all play a part in that process. And I do feel sad for those of us that are left behind. That's a sadness that we should all feel, because it's our loss that Harvey's gone. He's such a great man, a mentor, always a joke on his tongue, always something to teach, a very slow, deliberate manner. Never did anything irrational. He was always the peacekeeper of the group, and Uncle Harve will be missed for all those traits and more. And that's, we have to remember that stuff. They're not gone as long as we remember them. And I do communicate with all of the spirits, the people that have passed on since I was a kid, my grandparents, aunts, uncle, everybody. I say a nightly little prayer, and I will have a conversation with my best friend who passed away 28, 29 years ago. I'll still say, Jim, I hope you're having a good day wherever you are. And I believe that. I believe that they still watch over us and help guide us. All right, and the final thing I'll do is we'll just turn on the spirit box here. We'll do it through our speaker. And let's just see if Uncle Harve has anything to say to us. All right, I'm looking to connect to Uncle Harve. I know it's only been a couple of days, but if you can just take 1 minute to let us know you're doing all right and feeling better, we'd appreciate it. Uncle Harve, can you give a message to Dad? I know he'd love that. I just had a funny thought. I was like, the last couple of years that Harv did come out hunting, it was real tough and slow going to get him up that hill. He had a hip replacement. Well, Uncle Harve, you going to be able to leg it over that hill this year with me? Can you give me a message, Harv, so that I know I'm talking to you? I swear I heard my dad's name. It said, I'm here, and then it said my dad's name. Well, Uncle Harve, did you meet up with our other old hunting buddy? Can you say his name? Oh, full neck shiver and full back shiver as soon as I heard that. Uncle Murray. It said Murray as soon as I asked that. Crazy. Well, I say crazy, but guys, there's a reason we're sitting here talking to an app in my kitchen, because it works. We've had this so many times that it works. All right, love you, Uncle Harve. Is there any messages you have for anyone else? I'll pass them on. Okay, so we recorded for 22 minutes in 4K 60 and the ZV E1 overheated and shut down. So I wondered what the little orange symbol in the middle of the screen was. I guess it was you're overheating. Okay, I wasn't quite done talking to Harvey. I heard in that last clip, thankfully we didn't lose the last clip. It's still saved on there. I heard deer, Gary, boat, fishing. All right, Uncle Harve, I'll let you get back to it. Sorry for the interruption. Technological failures down here on the Earth side. Any last message for my dad? I heard that message with my own ear. That's awesome. Well, thanks for coming through, Uncle Harve. This is what I mean, guys. This is why we do what we do. I can't stop doing it because we keep getting responses like that that make sense. Good luck, hunt. It said my dad's name. I was going to say my mind is blown. Then I thought, I always say my mind is blown, but it is. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you in the next adventure.